Adhyaya 8, Shloka 1. Adhyaya 8, Ashtamaha Adhyaya. In Sanskrit, Ashta means 8. Ashtamaha means 8. So, 8th Adhyaya. This 8th Adhyaya is called Akshara Brahma Yoga because in this Adhyaya, Brahman is referred to as Akshara, as we will see very soon. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Omityekaksharam Brahma. More than once, the word Aksharam is used to describe Brahman. Naksharati iti Aksharam. That which does not perish, does not undergo mutation, is called Aksharam. The eternal is Aksharam. The chapter begins with some questions by Arjuna. And Arjuna's questions are based on the last verse of the previous chapter. In fact, last two verses of the previous chapter. Jaramarana-mokshaya mamashritya yatantiye te brahma tadviduh kritsnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam and sadhibhutadhidaivam mam sadhiyajnancha ye viduhu prayanakale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. In these two verses, Krishna has used certain words. First of all, Brahma, then Adhyatma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, etc. Arjuna is asking about those words, what it really means. And in addition to that, he is asking another important question at the end, which forms the main topic of chapter 8. That question is how to remember Bhagavan at the last breath. How to think of Bhagavan at the last moment of one's life. Let us look into the shloka, and through the shloka, Arjuna's questions. In fact, shloka 1 and shloka 2 are questions by Arjuna. And in these two shlokas, Arjuna is going to ask 7 questions. According to Madhusudana Saraswati, the questions are 7 in number. Some people may also say it is 8, but according to Madhusudana Saraswati, it is 7 questions. Arjuna uvacha किं तत् ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मम् किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते. Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna is asking, Hey Purushottama. Before starting the question, Arjuna is addressing Krishna. Hey Purushottama. Purusheshu Uttamaha Purushottama. The best among the Purushas. The best among the beings. He Purushottama. Kim Tad Brahma. Tad Brahma Kim. What is the Brahman? This is question number 1. What is the Brahman? And number 2. Kim Adhyatmam. What is Adhyatma? This word was used in Shloka 29. Te Brahma Tadviduh Krishnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. So, what is Adhyatma? Question number 2. And question number 3. Kim Karma? What is Karma? Here we should remember that Arjuna is not asking about karma in general. He is not asking the dictionary meaning of karma. He is asking what karma is meant by Krishna when he mentioned karma in Shloka 29. Karma Chakhilam. In Shloka 29, a karma was mentioned. And the karma that was mentioned is a means for moksha. The means for moksha is mentioned. Therefore, Arjuna is asking Krishna, what is that karma which will serve as a means for moksha? Kim karma? And question number 4. Adhibhutancha kim proktam. What is called Adhibhutam? Adhibhutam is mentioned in Shloka 30. Sadhibhutadhidaivam. So, what is Adhibhutam? And Adhidaivam kimuchyate? What is called Adhidaivam? So, five questions are already asked. Now, two more questions are going to be asked in next shloka. Adhiyajñah katham kotra देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथम् ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. Question 6. He Madhusudana, O Madhusudana, Krishna, Atra Asmin Dehe, here in this body, Kaha Adhiyajnaha, who is Adhiyajna, and how he is Adhiyajna, Katham. So this question includes two, Kaha and Katham. The same question includes two subdivisions. One is Kaha Adhiyajnaha, who is Adhiyajna, and Saha Katham Adhiyajnaha Bhavati, how he becomes Adhiyajna. Adhiyajna means one who presides over Yajna. Yajna is a prayer. Who is addressed by the Yajna? Who answers the prayer in the Yajna? It is Adhiyajna. So who is that Adhiyajna? In fact, Arjuna is not totally ignorant about these things. Since even Arjuna, as his education, he has learnt some amount of Shastra. In ancient days, everyone was taught the Shastra as a part of their yajna, their education. Therefore, even Arjuna has some information. He is not totally uninformed. Therefore, Arjuna knows very well that the Adhiyajna resides in this body. We do not pray to someone who is somewhere far away. This is very well known in our culture. That is why when you go to a temple, you close your eye and pray. You are standing in front of the Devata, in front of the Vigraha. You are folding your hands But when you intensely pray, you close your eyes. Why is it so? Because you know that the one who is being prayed to is not outside, it is inside. We understand this very well. We are not praying to a God in heaven. We pray to the Ishvara, who is Antaryami. Antah sthitva yamayati iti Antaryami. He is present in everyone. Therefore, Arjuna adds in this question what he already knows. The Adhiyajna, it is present in this body itself. Atra asmin dehe, in this body, there is an Adhiyajna, one who answers the yajna, one who answers the prayer. Who is that? Kaha. And Katham, how? How he is Adhiyajna? Means, does he become Adhiyajna being supported by someone, or without being supported by anyone, he is Adhiyajna? So, Adhiyajna Kaha, Katham. It is question number 6. And the last but not the least question. Last but not the least. Not the least because it is the main question, which forms the main subject matter of chapter 8. Answer to the 7th question forms the main part of chapter 8. In fact, the other questions Krishna does not dwell upon much. He will answer them in brief. But the 7th question is elaborately answered. And the answer to this question is very important to a sadhaka. Let us look into the question. प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः नियतात्मभिः. People who have disciplined their mind, people with the disciplined mind, people with the trained mind are called niyatatmana. Niyataha atma yesham te niyatatmana. The spiritual pursuit, the pursuit of moksha, involves self discipline, involves restraining one's mind and senses. Without that spiritual pursuit, the pursuit of moksha is not possible. Sadhana is not possible without restraining the mind, without disciplining the mind. And in order to discipline the mind, one should also have a disciplined lifestyle as well. A disciplined lifestyle. When should one wake up? How one should eat? How much one should sleep? There has to be discipline in everything. So, niyatatmabhihi, by the niyatatmas, prayana kale, at the time of departure from this body, our shastras are very clear in a fact. Death does not mean end of the individual. There are various ideas about death. One idea is death is the end of the individual. It is not so. Death is not your end. Death is the end of this body, but not your end. Then another understanding about death. Death means you are going to rest, going to eternal rest. Some people have this idea. After death, you are still there in the body, even after death, but you are resting like a long sleep. That is why they bury the body in a sleeping position and write RIP, rest in peace, RIP. It is a Western idea. Some Westerners think so. The dead person is resting underground. It is not even so. After the death, you don't stay in this body. Then what happens? You leave this body. Death means leaving this body. And then there is a prayana, a journey. Leaving this body and going to a particular destination. There is a journey and there is a destination also, which will be discussed later on in this adhyaya. How the jiva travels, where he travels, etc. So, Arjuna is asking about prayana kala. the time of departure from this body. Prayana kale katham jneyah asi. How you should be known means how you should be thought about, how you should be remembered. In fact, Arjuna has learnt before from some source that one should remember Ishvara at the time of death. If one remembers Ishvara at the time of death, eventually he will get moksha. This is well known in our culture. One should die remembering God. One should die remembering Ishvara. But it is not easy to remember Ishvara at the time of death. Because at the time of death, one might be in great pain. That is why Kulashekara Alvar in Mukundamala says, Prana Prayana Samaye Kaphavata Pittaihi Kantavarodhana Vidhau Smaranam Kutaste. At the time of Prana Prayana, at the time of departure from this body, there will be Kapha, Vata, and Pitta. The three doshas, they will torment the body. At that time, how can I remember you? Likewise, Arjuna thinks it is not easy to remember Paramatma at the last moment. Therefore, Arjuna is asking Krishna, Katham jneyah asi? How you are remembered at the last moment. From Shloka 3 onwards, Krishna is answering Arjuna's questions. And Krishna is answering in the same order as they are asked by Arjuna. Let us look into the shloka. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhutabhavodbhavakaraha Visargah Karma Sanjitaha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan said, answer to the first question, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. The Brahman which is mentioned in previous adhyaya, Shloka 29. The Brahman which should be known in order to attain moksha is Paramam Brahma. It is the Paramam Brahma. In the Shastra, they talk about two types of Brahman. One is Parabrahma, another is Aparabrahma. Aparabrahma means the lower Brahma. Does it mean there are two Brahmans? It is not that there are two Brahmans. But because of certain upadhis, the Brahman becomes apara. Brahman seems to have limitations. According to the Shastra, there is something called Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is apara Brahma. It is also Brahman, essentially. But Brahman confined to certain upadhi. That is why it is called apara Brahma. Certain limitations. Just like us, even we are Brahman. Essentially, even we are Brahman. But we have a confinement, this upadhi, body, mind, etc. Because of which the Brahman seems to be limited. The Brahman with a superimposed limitation. The Brahman with an apparent limitation is called apara Brahma. In order to distinguish this Brahman from the apara Brahma, there is the adjective Paramam Brahma, which is sometimes referred to as Parabrahma also. Parabrahma or Paramam Brahma. It is the Brahman without any limitation. Brahman that is free from all limitations is called Parabrahma. And this Parabrahma is Aksharam, the imperishable, the eternal. And to get moksha, to attain moksha, one should know the Akshara Brahma. Akshara Brahmana Jnanam. A clear understanding of the Aksharam Paramam Brahma is the way to moksha. So this is answer to first question. Now the answer to second question. What is Adhyatmam? Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. Swabhavaha. Swaha Bhavaha Swabhavaha. One's own nature, one's own true self, which is present in this body, is called Adhyatmam. Means the Pratyagatma. The Atma is sometimes called Pratyagatma. The word Pratyak means it is innermost. How innermost? Not spatially innermost. If the Atma is inside in terms of space, then Atma will become limited. Therefore, Atma is inner. When we say this in Vedanta, we should not understand that it is spatially inside. As far as the space is concerned, Atma is everywhere. It is all pervasive. Still, we say it is innermost. Innermost because it can never become object. What is called outer? The object is called outer. For example, I am wearing these glasses. Compared to my glasses, the computer in front of me is outer. Glasses are inside, computer is outside. And compared to my eyes, glasses are outer, they are outside. Because even the glasses are object of my eyes. Therefore, anything that becomes object is outside. The computer is an object of my glasses, and my glasses are an object of my eyes. Therefore, eyes are inside. And then compared to my mind, even my eyes are outside. Therefore, mind is in, eyes are out. Now, the Atma, the consciousness, it objectifies even the mind. It witnesses even the mind. Therefore, it is the innermost. Nothing objectifies the Atma. The Atma does not become object of anything. Therefore, it is the innermost. Pratyak. Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. The Atma which is present inside, it is called Adhyatma. and essentially it is nothing but Brahman. The same Brahman is present as the Swarupa, Swabhava inside. Then, answer to question 3. What is karma? Meaning, what kind of karma contributes to moksha by providing chitta shuddhi? Bhagavan answers, Bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha visargaha karma sanyitaha. Visargaha karma sanyitaha. A very beautiful answer. The karma that can contribute to moksha, the karma that can contribute to the upliftment of an individual is a visarga. Visarga means a tyaga. The commentator explains visarga means tyaga, giving up, sacrificing. The true action that can bring about upliftment is a sacrifice, giving, giving up. And the commentator further explains there are two main types of karmas. One is called yajna, another is called dana. Yajna and dana. What do we do in yajna? Even yajna involves sacrifice. Devatodeshena dravyatyagaha. Offering dravya. It involves a tyaga. You offer what you own to the devatas, addressing the devatas or addressing the Parameshwara. You are offering. It involves a tyaga, giving. And likewise a dana. Even in dana, you are doing tyaga. You give what you have. Sometimes people give what they don't want. It is not called dana. Dana means giving something valuable. If you anyway wants to dispose something and you give it to someone, it is not called dana. You are giving something that you have and that is valuable to someone. with the proper attitude. Let me give it. Datavyamiti yaddanam diyatenupakarinē deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smrutam. Datavyamiti yaddanam diyate. You are giving with the attitude, I should give. It is right to give. With this attitude, you are giving. Resisting all the impulses to keep it for yourself. Most often we have a reluctance. I will not give. But you resist you overcome the resistance. You overcome the reluctance with the idea, I should give. It is my dharma to give. And give generously, substantially. Anupakarine, without expecting anything in return. Deshe kale cha patre cha, at the right time, right place and right time, when the person needs it, to a deserving person, then it is called sattvika dana. Taddanam satvikam smritam. So visargaha means a tyaga, which involves yajna as well as dana. And it can also involve all the selfless service. All that you do with the generosity is the karma that can bring about spiritual upliftment, that can lead you towards moksha, closer to moksha, closer to Ishvara. And then there is another description of this karma. Bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha. In fact, this description glorifies the virtuous actions. Bhuta bhava udbhavakaraha. The karma, the right kind of action, it is responsible for the birth as well as sustenance of the beings. As a reference to this, we can remember a shloka from Adhyaya 3, chapter 3. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadanna sambhavaha yajnad bhavati parjanyaha yajnah karma samudbhavaha. Parjanya means a cloud, implying rain. The rain results from our yajna. Yajna stands for all the good deeds that we do, all the virtuous actions that we do. If there has to be rain at proper time, then there has to be yajna. The universe is continuing, the universe is sustained because of the virtuous actions of many of the people. Suppose everyone in the universe becomes self centered, everyone thinks only about himself or herself, then there will be imbalance in the universe. The universe will start collapsing. Universe means the society. The society will start collapsing if everyone is self centered and nobody thinks of the others. The universe, what is applicable to the society, is applicable to the universe at large also. We can understand it from the standpoint of the society, at the society level. But the same thing can be applicable to the universe as a whole as well. The society is sustained because of the generosity of the people. There are people who care for others. There are people who care for the society at large. There are people who care for the country. That is why the society is sustained. A healthy society is possible only when there are generous people, there are broad minded people. Therefore, Krishna describes the karma as bhuta bhavodbhava karaha. It is responsible for the birth as well as sustenance of the beings in the universe. Even the universe, just like the society, even the universe is sustained on account of the karmas, as it is told in chapter 3. The karma that we do, the good karma that we do, produces punya, and there is a samashti punya, the collective punya. That is what sustains the harmony of the universe. If it has to rain in time, there has to be punya. If there should not be any natural calamities, there has to be punya. If there should be moderate temperature without too much of unbearable heat and cold, there has to be punya. And where does this punya come from? From all our good deeds, from all our yajna, etc. Therefore, to sustain the beings in this planet, the punya is needed. Visargaha, sacrifice is needed. Yajna and dana are needed. It is the type of karma that does good to the universe as well as does good to oneself also. By taking the individual further in the path of moksha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.